Oh boy, I can't wait for the Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Why would they make those? Diamond and Pearl are pretty good.
Hey, didn't you just say they're bad?
Why would you buy those? They're making remakes soon. Because Diamond and Pearl are the best games ever. Yeah.
Nah. They should remake Red and Blue because that was a while ago.
Whatever. Why do we even have these conversations anyway?
Hello and welcome, I'm the legendary Pokemaster, and today we are talking about possible Pokemon Red and Blue remakes. We're trying to talk about the Pokemon Red and Blue remakes, which may be coming up soon instead of the Diamond and Pearl remakes because Red and Blue is kind of in need of an update. There isn't much to go on about this topic, so without further ado, we will put everything together and let's start.
To start us off, let's take a look at the previous remakes we had of Kanto, Fire Red and Leaf Green. It's so great. These games are pretty well put together, but considering they are remakes, we already have some signs of age in them. The games were made for the Game Boy Advance, making them the only Pokemon remakes not to be supported by current hardware as of now. One of the main purposes of remaking Pokemon games is to make them playable on the current hardware so you could, still experience their story. Ruby and Sapphire have already been remade, and those were on par with Fire Red and Leaf Green in terms of graphical standpoints. So if there were a time to remake Pokemon Red and Blue, it would probably be now. Even Sun and Moon have a lot of ties to Kanto. Red, Blue. Oh wait, they're older now. Well, a Kanto remake could explain how they got here, yeah. They kinda just randomly came for vacation or something. I don't know. Maybe they won a ticket from a drunk guy in Southampton. Many people also bring up that Lily goes to Kanto after Sun and Moon. But this would be much later on than the main story of Red and Blue based on the age of Red and Blue. Come on, Red. Why can't you just stay static in time like Ash? Take an example. Also, Ash is in a coma after being killed by those Spearow or something. I found it on the internet! Also, let's not forget the player, who is creatively named Sun or Moon. They came from Kanto. Maybe a Kanto remake could explain the origins of these characters. But the main question about Gen 1 remakes is when they will happen. According to the visible pattern of remakes, Diamond and Pearl are actually the next ones in the line of succession. This wouldn't really leave any room for Red and Blue because then it would be Gen 8 games and then Unova remake and yada yada yada. But if they were to insert Red and Blue remakes somewhere in this mix, I think that they could do it in two probable ways. The first is taking the route of Pokemon Stars. As we can basically tell, the Switch is going to eventually kill off the 3DS. It's kind of inevitable, you gotta admit. So I put it this way. Why not release Diamond and Pearl remakes to both the Switch and the 3DS, and then sorta have the Pokemon Stars thing go on to the Switch as Red and Blue remakes? It would bring people over from the 3DS to the Switch, and people would view it as somewhat fair given Diamond and Pearl remakes were ported to both, and that the 3DS already has Red and Blue on the Virtual Console. Plus, then they could take the Apple backdoor and say that the 3DS isn't compatible enough to run the Red and Blue remakes. I personally believe that that would work best, but there's also other ways to do it, which is to postpone the Diamond and Pearl remakes and instead give people a Red and Blue remake in the interim. Although it would disrupt the schedule that Pokemon kinda has going, it would make sense overall, I think. Diamond and Pearl are probably less in need of a remake than Red and Blue. I mean, look at this, and then look at that. Quite the difference. Pokemon has done this before, putting off Ruby and Sapphire remakes an entire generation. So it is completely possible that GameFreak can pull the rug out from under us yet again. You're killing me, Miyamoto. First you go to the top of my tower a few months ago in that video, and now this. Ugh. Not Austin! You still didn't answer if they'll make remakes. Well, currently, Game Freak hasn't really released even an inkling of information about this. Not even a hint, which is kind of what they're good at. However, they did say that they are developing a Pokemon game for the Switch, and releasing a main series Pokemon game that is not a remake so soon after Sun and Moon would be kind of a bad marketing decision. Actually, yeah, it would be a terrible marketing decision. At this point, the need is there, but whether or not Game Freak will do it is up to your interpretation of them. So what do you think? Will Game Freak release Red and Blue remakes soon or even at all? Please leave a comment down below. You could also subscribe to see videos like this twice a week. Regardless, welcome to Month of Origins 2017, and I'll see you in the next video.